Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, The Choice 105.3, as well as International Business Radio, and soon to be CW Richmond TV. We're taking our talents to TV. It is Chamber Wednesday. So I got the power dynamic duo in. So I got Danielle Fitzhugh, El Presidente, and we got Mark Bowen. He is a Westchester Commons thing, but he's not here with that today. I mean, he is also, but he is here as Danielle. Did I get it? He is the chairman of the board. Is that correct?
Correct. So
okay, because you corrected me the other day because I think I called him the president, and she said, "Mike, you have to get the man's title right. We can't be slighting him." He is the chairman.
Well, it's not necessarily a slight. I'm not to the position of president. That's Danielle, and so I can't take all that responsibility.
That's right. It is Chamber Wednesday. The world famous Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce is here. Danielle, it's elevator pitch time. Tell folks who you are and what we got, what we do.
Yeah, so we're the Chesterfield Chamber, and what we do really well is connect businesses and people with other businesses and people right here in Chesterfield. So if you want to do business with other businesses, or you want to do businesses with other people here in Chesterfield, no matter where you're located, then no one else does it better than the Chesterfield Chamber.
And with us, we have the incoming chairman, the man about town, Mark Bowen, is here. So Mark, let's get your elevator pitch in.
Well, as far as what I do on an everyday basis, well, I kind of do both on an everyday basis.
Yes, you do.
I manage Westchester Commons on the corner of 288 and Route 60 in Midlothian, 600,000 square foot shopping center, combination of retail, service, restaurants, entertainment, a little bit of everything. As far as the chamber is concerned, I am the new chairman of the board for the Chesterfield Chamber Board of Directors, and we are all about promoting business to each other, to outside entities, to really be an advocate for small business specifically. But as Danielle said, we like to connect people with other businesses and with each other.
So last Wednesday, I was calling my friend Kelly Swazo Davis, and I was talking and I was trying to figure out why she was being very tight-lipped. And she says, "I can't talk right now." I'm like, "Where are you?" "Mike, I'm at the chamber luncheon." And I said, "Oh, that's where I was supposed to be." The word was the event last week from everybody I talked to was outstanding. I mean, the amount of people, the energy, that's what you guys do on a monthly basis. Really quickly, before we get into what you guys are going to talk about, let's talk about the chamber lunches.
Yeah, I mean, it is by far our best commercial of the work and opportunity and the energy that you get by engaging with the Chesterfield Chamber. So our lunch is running close to 200 people every month. The lunch is free. You pay for the speaker, education, and networking. And it is, you walk into a room of, 160, 180 people, and you feel the energy. It's hard to describe. In fact, I'll invite your listeners and viewers, if you have not been to a lunch and you would like to attend a lunch, reach out to us. You can come as our guests. The only cost is you take a phone call from my membership person, and I'm happy to let anyone who has not experienced what the Chesterfield Chamber has to offer. We have a phenomenal speaker every single month. Rodney Williams, director of the Capital Region SBDC, was no exception. He did a remarkable job kicking us off for the year, letting us know all the opportunity and resources for our businesses. Our goal as a chamber is to help our businesses grow. And we do that in many different ways, through our programming, through our outreach, through our support. So our chamber lunch is just another way to help our businesses grow so that they can sustain right here in our region.
Really quickly, so Mark Bowen, we're talking about the operational tempo of the Chesterfield Chamber is unmatched. I mean, everyone is engaged. Everyone is being a salesman for the chamber. you've come up through the ranks to the point where you are where you are right now. Explain that to people who've never been there, the tempo of how the chamber operates.
Well, as Danielle said, when you walk into the room during a luncheon, that is a lot of times someone's first interaction with the chamber, and they either come on their own, or most of the time they're invited by a current member. And it is a fast-paced, but also a take your time relationship building that you really do. I talked to a person who has just kind of gotten out of the restaurant business, has very successful restaurants, and now he is doing something else. But he had come to the chamber luncheon last Wednesday for the very first time, and he said, I haven't been in a room this energetic in the last 5 years. And he said, I have to be part of this. You will find from staff, from the board, from the committee chairs, to those that are active with the committees or are doing something specific, that the energy is very consistent across the board. We are all cheerleaders for our entity known as the Chesterfield Chamber. And it is, as I said, it's fast paced. We want to get you engaged. And that's one thing we really talk about. It's the engaged membership that makes our chamber. We have an outstanding staff. We have a great board. We have great committees, but it is the one-on-one relationships that these chamber members are making with each other. And I go back to what Danielle always says, I know a guy. That is all the way across the board. I know a guy, I know a girl, I know somebody. That's the connections that have been invaluable between the members of the chamber.
It truly is a place to know a person.
What I just wanted to add on to that is that, it's really hard to explain a feeling, right? And so, yesterday we honored and recognized MLK Day. But I reflect, what comes to mind as Mark was talking is, think about Maya Angelou when she said, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And so when you come to a Chesterfield program, whether it's the lunch, whether it's a networking event after hours, whether it's Leadership Chesterfield, what you feel is how we care about you and the success of your business. And that's not from just staff or board, that goes through the line to the everyday member. They want to know what you do and how they can help.
Your young gun staff, they're rock stars. I mean, there's a crazy energy that you guys have now. It's like, put them all together and it's just like they're moving and grooving. So, congratulations to you with the staff. I mean, there's some young Thundercats and they're doing it.
That's it.
That's a great way to describe them, as Thundercats.
I called somebody one of that, and my grandkids looked at me and said, "Man, how old are you?" It's like they're young and they're energetic and all that. Alrighty, so on the mic, Mike King, Danielle Fitzhugh, Mark Bowen, Chesterfield Chamber. It is Chamber Wednesday. Danielle, I know you're here with something good. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so we have a few things coming up. We're celebrating our State of Community Education series later this week, and we're going to have the Commonwealth Secretary of Education, Secretary Gadira, is going to be speaking. It is general session time, and so it's a short session this year, right? So, supposed to be 30 days. It can be extended and go to 45 days, but there are quite a few education bills that are hitting the floor, and we have a strong champion in Chesterfield for education, Delegate Carrie Corner, who represents the eastern side of the county, and it's doing phenomenal work in she's a strong education proponent. She had served on the school board here in the county, and so we're going to hear a little bit of what is going on with legislation. We're also going to hear a little bit, I'm sure, about Governor Youngkin's policies around education And then we're going to hear from our school superintendent, Dr. Darty, on implementation of programs as we finish out, we're halfway through the public school year. So that'll take place a little bit later this week.
It was great. I had Dr. Doherty on before and I asked him about kids coming back to school. And I asked him when the kids came back, he said, before we had to teach them about reading and writing and all those things, we had to teach them how to interact with each other. Because it had been a while since they had been around people.
Right.
And that,
Right.
I hadn't thought of that right there. And he said, we had to get folks back to understanding what it's like to be in a classroom, what it's like to be in a school setting. So it's going to be great to hear from him, as well as all the folks who are going to speak that day.
Yeah, I mean, our support on the government affairs side is probably unmatched. I mean, it's another thing that we do well in the relationship building space is we build connections with and relationships with our board of supervisors. We meet in small groups with business leaders and each of our supervisors. We meet in small group with each of our school board members, as well as, administration. We meet in small group with our delegates, with our General Assembly members. And, today is Chamber Day at the Capitol, which is really for us an opportunity to say hello, because we've done the work all year of meeting with our elected officials and letting them know the things that are important with us. We have it built in. So when you show up at Chamber Day, which is sponsored by the Virginia Chamber, they already know who you are and recognize the things as business leaders that are important to you.
One of Mike Danielle Fitzhugh, Mark Bowen, Chesterfield Chamber. That's what we're talking about. They always have some really outstanding things that are going on as well. So right now, Danielle, you guys are having Leadership Chesterfield, correct?
We are, and we're talking about Chesterfield business today is the topic of today. So we're hosted by St. Francis today. So Bon Secours has had many things happening in our community with the opening of their ER emergency department in the Chester area spring last year. And they're also adding another 55 beds to their St. Francis Hospital to service need. Our community is growing. Our community's older population is growing. And so Bon Secours is making the plan in 5-year increments on how to serve the growing population. They're also going to put a surgical center on a vacant lot that's near their current hospital. So that was our This Morning program. Now they're talking about building teams in your workplace. We have a speaker talking about team building and unity. Maybe they're using our Thundercats new team as a model. I'm not sure. And then they're going to be looking at business needs in the community and workforce later this afternoon.
One of the things I always talk to people about is, so I lived in York, Pennsylvania, and I knew some people. I was knocking on doors, and I ended up going to Leadership York because the company that I was with, no one wanted to go. 8 months later, I was one of the insiders. That's what the leadership program does, and mine was a class of 2000. So, shout out to Leadership York, the class of 2000. That's York, Pennsylvania. So you have to be clear, because I understand, Danielle, you say, oh, there are other Chesterfields, but not really. It's Chesterfield, Virginia. So going through the leadership program, really quickly, let people know what they can expect and how they could get involved in the next one, because I know it's really important.
Yeah, so it's a 9-month community education program. So the goal is to raise leaders, educate leaders so they can go out and serve, right? So they can serve in things that they're passionate about, that they can volunteer and continue to be the next set of leaders to make our community great. It runs on about an academic schedule, just 1 half day a month meeting requirement between September and May. They work on a community project. This year's community project is going to be Ronald McDonald House and adding meal and food service and doing a cost analysis. They have some goals of serving their market and would like to add meal and food service. So their big community project is doing a cost analysis on, is that something feasible? What are the resources needed to make that helpful because as people are having an emergency medical care with a young loved one, the last thing you want to do is have to worry about how to feed yourself while you're here being housed. And then applications start coming in the summer for the next class. So stay tuned in the summer for application period. Actually, for our program, let's see, 2018 maybe?
For me,
Mhm.
actually, I was going to strike up the end of that conversation. I was 2020. So
Okay.
we had a fairly large group that year, but I can't emphasize the importance of the relationship building that you have with Leadership Chesterfield. These are people from all walks of life. They may not be the primary contact at their business, but it is their business who is a chamber member that believes in developing the leaders of their business and of tomorrow. So I might have been one of the older, more veteran people that were in the class of 2020, but I met people that I continue to network with that I really don't see on a monthly basis, but I recognize them as movers and shakers in their individual businesses, and I can't also emphasize the connections that you make that you may not have those opportunities at any other time. I mean, when you are meeting on the very first day of class and you get connected to Dr. Joe Casey, the county administrator, and Dr. Ted Raspeller, the president of Brightpoint, those two people have influence over what you do in the business community from here on out. And that's just on class one. You meet people from Village Bank, you meet people from Dominion, you meet people in the county government, the police chief, the fire chief, the sheriff. You really are connected with people that help develop your connections and your leadership skills to help you prosper personally and professionally and help your business grow in Chesterfield County.
It truly is. It truly is outstanding. And everyone here who goes through it raves about it. So shout out to Mark Bowen. I'm sure you're going to say your class of 2020 was outstanding and the best. That's how everyone thinks, because what you get from it, you become an insider very quickly.
I totally agree about the insider. I probably wouldn't be as well connected, especially to Dr. Casey and to Garrett Hart, had it not been for this class. Of course, I've continued to grow within the chamber and made closer connections with them, but that was my introduction to those individuals.
There you go, Mark Bowen, Chesterfield Chamber, as well as Westchester Commons. Danielle, what else are we chatting about today?
Yeah. Sorry, getting over a little bit of a cold here, so my apologies. One of the other things that I would like to talk about are, it's almost time. I want to let businesses start thinking. We've done this every year, Mike, since we launched our Total Resource campaign. And so, we hear every other week on Chamber Wednesday of the many great opportunities we have to grow our business. And we've talked about the opportunities that our Total Resource campaign allows businesses to match where they want to be and what audience they want to be in front of with the opportunity that we have available. So that's going to be coming up here in just another month or so. We'll be launching our next campaign. And so I want businesses to be thinking about, there's an opportunity that the Chesterfield Chamber has to put your business and your business message in front of the audience that you want to get in front of. And so be thinking about the resources that you want to put behind your messaging and the opportunities that we can help you match with that message.
What we're saying here, ladies and gentlemen, what Danielle is saying is there is a position and a place for everyone. People a lot of times think that the Chamber of Commerce is old and stuffy. That's not the case. And the other one is, I can't afford to sponsor things, be engaged, because it costs too much. And Danielle, what you guys do with the campaign is, before it would be a year-round event where you guys are. This time it's hard hitting. Explain to our listeners exactly what that is, because you're going to get it when it's there, and when the gavel goes down and you say it's over, the door's closed.
That's right. That's right. Well, and a lot of times, I mean, you see all kinds of opportunities out there, and you'll see a laundry list of sponsors. And you, especially as maybe a small business owner, are thinking, okay, this is out of my price range, out of my budget. And a lot of times, small business owners are making cash flow purchasing decisions at that very moment. And so we have opportunities as small as $150 to as high as $7,500. And we have a laundry list of opportunities in between that. And so I want businesses to know that we can work within your budget to get you in front of the right market. That's the most important thing, is that, you know, sometimes businesses will say, well, I didn't think there would be anything that I could afford. This program allows everybody an equal opportunity to get in front of the business market to help them grow. Again, we're all about helping businesses get to the next level. And this opportunity is really about matching the right need with the companies that are interested in marketing their business.
One of the ways to help out the chamber, I got an email from that guy, Peter Larson. I had no clue what it was. Peter Larson said, hey, Mike King, would you come to this thing? And next thing you know, I find out about the campaign. And it does make a difference, because it allows you, Danielle, when you're looking at campaign things that happen during the year, you're not always out there, like I say to people, how do you fund On the Mic with Mike? I'm like, with a 10 cup out on Midlow. And people laugh. And I'm like, no, seriously, that's exactly how it goes. But the way you do the campaign here, it's totally different. You guys are knocking it out in a 30-day period, basically, and it runs for the entire year.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, we have people that come back and purchase the same opportunity each year because it's the best fit for their business. We also have people that shift their opportunity, and they're like, okay, I was able to get in front of this audience for this opportunity, but now let me diversify and get in front of a different audience for another opportunity. Because like Mark said, something like Leadership Chesterfield, for instance, the participants and speakers in that program, you might not see in any other venue. And that's the audience you want to get in front of. And so, you know, not everything we do everyone show up to the exact same people. So we really do work with the business and figuring out, like, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to hear your messaging? And then here's the opportunity that allows you to do that.
There you go. It is the Chesterfield Chamber. Mark Bowen, let's get the latest that's happening out there at Westchester Commons.
We have lots happening. Development of 172 townhomes. The first 66 are getting ready to go vertical in the next 2 weeks. We have moved our concert series, which will start June the 1st, benefiting 10 area nonprofits. That will start right in the middle of Main Street, where we had our tree this year. We have a youth fitness.
So hold up a second. You guys are moving it to Main Street?
We are. We're going to have a great street festival every other Thursday from 5:30 to 8:30. The band will be up on a pedestal. There'll be plenty of dancing room, and it all benefits some great local causes. We also have D1, which is a youth fitness training facility that's getting ready to take over about 5,400 square feet of space. And we have several other projects that are strongly being considered that are in different stages of the leasing process. But yeah, we're having fun, growing. It's so much happening right around us.
That's true. That's why that's why I'm coming out there all the time, coming out there to talk to the business owners and all the folks up and down Main Street. Mike King, Mark Bowen, we're out there. Alrighty, Mark, how can people find information about Westchester?
Easy to find us at shopwestchestercommons.com. Also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just type in Westchester Commons and we'll pop up. And you can also
Mark Bowen, chairman of the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce. I'm putting some respect on that name. And putting some respect on that name. Danielle Fitzhugh, how can people reach you out there?
Yeah, we can find us at ChesterfieldChamber.com or Chesterfield Chamber VA on all social media. And, the party of the quarter is coming up on March 23rd, our gala. And, it's a small business.
It's a party.
2-hour party, March 23rd. Mark your calendars. And we're going with an international theme as we travel, and we're going to be hosting it at the Cultural Center of India in Chester.
Okay.
I will say, Mike, one thing through TRC that Westchester Commons always does is the life of the party sponsorship of the gala every year.
Yeah, that's the 2-hour party.
You can only imagine, right?
I can only imagine why Mark Bowen is that person who has that event circled every year.
Yep.
You are the person who sets it off, and you're the guy who knows how to get it done. And so, I appreciate that, because Danielle, as you say, we get through the business and get to the party.
Well, and I will say this year, since I am chairman of the board, I have turned over that reign to another group of people that are have been involved with the gala, and they are planning a bang up event. So I will be attending as the chair of the board, not of the gala, but I will be ready to party.
I'm sure you will be.
I
Ladies
feel
and
like
gentlemen, on the
matching bow tie and handkerchief and suspenders coming.
Just you wait. Just
Danielle, nobody matches Mark Bowen. If you think that you caught him, you didn't. He pulls out something and it just makes you stop. So on the mic with Mike came here. I'd like to say on the mic with Mike, last year we donated almost 24,000 minutes of free airtime to nonprofits and businesses. And I always joke, people say, how do you fund the program? With the tin cup out on Midlow. In reality, it's about working with people like Mark Bowen and Westchester Commons and Danielle Fitz, you both big time supporters. It's because of them that we're able to donate that time to the nonprofits to come out there and tell their story. So it's always a pleasure. I'd like to thank you guys. 2022 is big. We're doing it. I mean, Chesterfield, people think that all right, we aren't going down that road. People in Henrico are getting a little, people in Henrico are getting a little touchy. So on the mic with Mike, Mark Bowen, Danielle Fitz, you folks, would like to thank you. Danielle, I'll see you on Thursday for the education piece.
See you then.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank. Take care now. Bye.
Bye.